Good morning. Let's get started. All right, we had the bot taking a trade this morning. Might need to adjust this a little bit because we kind of took half the move. So maybe we should aim for a little bit higher targets on this. See if the backtest agrees with that. But we ended up getting in around 107 and then sold it. I don't know, low 20s, low 120s, and then we had another leg up. So could have really doubled that gain up at least. And that's really more of the aim for the strategy. So unfortunately, it did work, so that's good, but yeah, we could have made more on it. It's always an interesting balance to figure out where to put the target without being too greedy. But that is one of the pre-market strategies. So that worked out okay. Pretty good on that. Morning, good morning. 12% is good. 12% is good, but man, the strategy is really aiming for more than that. It's aiming for minimum 20, but a lot of times you get 30, 40, 50. If it gets really crazy, you could do 100. And then, these don't come along very often, so we're getting in at 106, 107. It's a great entry if it starts working, so then we really need to let it run as much as it can. But like I said, it's tricky to pick the stop because if it does fail, you want to be out. And then if it keeps going, you want to be in. So how do you balance that? Maybe something like what we should do here is do a minimum target of, right now it's at 20, but maybe we should bump it to 30. And then after it's up 20, move the stop to break even, something like that. That way, if it does fail, we don't get hurt on it. And then we're still in it for a chance for it to go up and give us the move we're looking for. But again, we can backtest it and find out what works the best. Always got to keep an eye on this stuff and keep making small improvements. Let's see, let me turn on the Discord bot. There we go. All right, so here's the chart. So we have great entry on that. And then kind of just got, unfortunately, stopped out right there for 13%, something like that, which is a great trade. But Yeah, the strategy is explosive, so we're looking for an explosive move. And it did have another leg up, so we might need to revisit that. And yeah, we'll check the back test out and see if we can make an adjustment there. See if it's even better or not. It's the thing, you can always have ideas what's good, but then you have to test it and find out. Overall, that might not be a good change, so we'll find out. Nice to see that working though, pretty good. All right. So this is one of the pre-market runners. Pharmaceutical, phase 2 trial. Probably, you know, these never hold up very good. So let's see. Hopefully we got more than biotechs running. What's this other one? Merger with TH Plasma. You know, the merger ones are usually bad, but this one's not moving like a typical merger play. So they announced it has entered into a merger agreement with True Health. So that's the thing. Okay. So they said they're going to do a merger. They haven't done a merger. Okay. So then, yeah. So basically it's just going to run like normal pretty much. There probably never will be a merger. Pretty clear resistance level broken through. The next one is at 930. So might have a short on our hands here. And that's putting it right around that $10 mark, which is usually the top for these anyways. So we got a key level at a key level. So we'll see, maybe around 10 bucks a share, we might be able to take a short on this. Ideally, 10 o'clock timing. Kappa probably topping out, I would guess. Right here. Let me check the daily on this one. Resistance not too far away. The closest one is right around $2, but I don't even know if it can make it up there. I would guess this is done, but I wouldn't short it here. All right, BLMZ is kind of cheap. Kind of cheap. Okay, the news is it's partnering with Hyper Community to deliver AI-driven VTuber platform. Obvious major level at 38 cents. So it's trying to get up there. Guess we'll keep an eye on it. Not a huge fan of the cheapies for shorting. All right, the rest of these are pretty much done. Maybe some bounce shorts later. All right, so something kind of interesting with the trading community, with the hyper scalpers specifically, these guys that go in and take 300, 400, 500 trades a day, taking little tiny gains, they're getting their accounts shut down by Schwab. So that's kind of interesting. They're cracking down. I think they're kind of exploiting the system a little bit and taking advantage of, I think it's just how they do the fills. And it's payment for order flow. So if they're not able to make money on your order flow, then they don't want you. So if you're doing these little quick trades and then their system can't profit from you, I guess they just kick you out. So that's what's happening with these guys. There's been, I think, a couple of them that we know of that have gotten banned from Schwab, because that's what they do. So they'll take 500 trades in a day, make a few cents here, share, and then it adds up. They'll do pretty good. In the grand scheme of things, it's pennies. It's peanuts for these big players, but they don't like to lose. The house never loses. So the house makes the rules. Got to play by the rules, I guess. So this guy, David Hanlon, he was a big scalper back in the day when he was starting trading. He just took $1 million trade yesterday, so that's pretty sweet on the Bitcoin breakout. But he doesn't scalp anymore. And he said that he got banned from multiple platforms: Fidelity, Schwab, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, and he was doing this hyper scalping and he got kicked off these platforms. So, but he says here that was the best thing that ever happened to him, and then he learned how to trade for real. So he says he quickly realized how little edge he had without free commissions and preferable fills. The comfort bubble of 150 plus green days in a row prevented me from holding winners, pushing size, and taking bigger picture trades, which is true. After losing those accounts, I was forced to reinvent myself. Now I'm far ahead of where I would have been if that hadn't happened. So it's kind of what happened. These people trading I think they trade kind of like Ross does. but way more. This guy says, I'm seeing many hyperscalpers get banned on TOS. Soon they will find out they have no edge. And that's kind of how it is. With the hyperscalping, you can make a little bit every day, but then you'll never have a $1 million day. It's not possible. So his trade here was a swing on basically just on Bitcoin, but I think he did some options. Let's see here. Maybe not options. IBIT calls sells for about 800K. So he did do calls on IBIT, trading the Bitcoin breakout. So that's what he's doing. So if you want to make $1 million, that's how you do it. You can't do it with hyperscalping. So I thought that was super, super interesting. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like swing trading is just way easier. So you can make a lot on a swing, or you can make a little bit maybe every day. But it seems like swinging is just way less work, and the edge is just so much better. I am going to be scaling some swings. I've been preparing for that. I'm pretty much 7 for 7 on my last set of swing trade ideas. So right now we have Tesla. We have Tesla long from just yesterday, a little bit. Seems like a little bit of a chase, but 314 entry. Kind of holding in this wedge right here. So it came down to the bottom of the wedge. Now it's trying to go back to the top of the wedge. We want to sell it maybe around the 340 area. We'll see what it does. And also, I'm trading this strategy that's back tested over here on TradingView. So I got this strategy coded up. So it performs really well on Tesla. So compounding $50,000 account from 2022 is pulling 1.3 million. So drawdown's not too bad, but it takes advantage of these big swings on Tesla, and that's kind of what we're going after here. So you can see the strategy is it's currently long. It trades long and short, but it's currently long right here at 313. And, I think it wants to go up here to the 340s. We'll see what it does. It might have a little bit of consolidation first. And then the nice thing is, too, if it cracks this major trend, then we just go short. So it's pretty simple, but it seems to perform pretty good on Tesla. Here's another one. Carvana did 1 million. A little more choppy, but it doesn't move as good as Tesla. Looks like Tesla's pushing right now, 319. Also trying out some other stuff like D-Dog. I'm going for D-Dog here. Hopefully this will hold up. You never know, but we've got a nice little trend break here on D-Dog over the past few days after their NASDAQ or the S&P 500 listing news. So we filled the gap all the way back down to 135, 135.50 area. So the gap is filled now. We have a trend break. I'm going for the swing on it. So I bought some yesterday. And we're going to risk the breakdown pretty much. So got to be wrong for sure to stop out. And if it can hold up, I really think that this has a chance to push up towards $200, test all-time high, potentially keep going after that, but we'll have to see. So I'm going to be trying some swings like this. And it's kind of like this one right here. So see, when we get this gap day like this, that kind of opens the door for a big move up. Now this one didn't fill the gap to the downside, but sometimes they can do that. And then if I can get in around this area, make 20, 30, 40, 50%, that's pretty much all I want out of it. Swinging for a month or two would be the goal. So we'll see if this can hold up today. If it can't, it's not looking good. But if it does hang out, then we really have a chance of holding, grinding back up to the highs, and then breaking out through this mega trend break. So we'll see if it can do it. I kind of think Nike is a similar situation, but a much more established company. D-Dog's sort of AI, kind of. AI companies would use it, but it's like an analytics type tool, tracking bottlenecks in your system, things like that, performance tracking. Nike, obviously, this is a nice company. They're going to have a lot of turbulence from the trade deals going on and tariffs. But it's possible that the bottom's in and we have a similar kind of situation with the gap up on earnings. Now we have a trend forming. So if this trend breaks, I'd be looking for this to be the bottom and never come back down, at least for 2 or 3 months. So we're going to try Nike for a swing as well. And it is down. So seems to be breaking out of this major trend here. And there's a chance it comes back up to all-time highs still. So we'll see if it gets up towards $100. That'll be our profit area. And again, it's kind of like this setup right over here. You get the gap up on earnings. It hangs out. Boom. Now that one didn't hit crazy targets, but it is Nike, so maybe wouldn't expect so much from Nike. Although, given the situation where it's at, it's down so much, it really could rebound quite a bit. But that's the hope. So there's a couple swings we got going. And obviously UNH. All right. 2 minutes to the bell. Can't believe MP is up so much. Freaking nuts. All right, Tesla spiking nicely. This morning spikes usually fail. All right. Kappa's looking dead. That one really could be the squeezer. Oh, it's halted down now. The other runner is his age. That one's trying to squeeze. Yeah, Kappa might just be done. Still keeping an eye out for some big cap day trades too. Nvidia just going higher. This is probably not one I would want to short. Probably, I don't know. Just all-time highs is pretty wild. I like this flag on Apple. So we've broken out of this big wedge, holding a higher flag now. Let's see. UNH looks like it's trying to break down. Still holding this bottom trend though. Yeah, not loving the UNH, but it is just testing the lows here. This could break down to the low 290s and then reclaim and come back up. All right, so it looks like Zage is the one that wants to squeeze today. Kappa already coming down. We have AMD gapping up. Pretty quiet overall. Hood got a sig to the upside. Gonna hoping Kappa can bounce back for a short here. Might not. Yeah, gonna miss that. Should have already hit it. Wow, this one's kind of scary. CYCC halted up. This is what gets a lot of the short sellers trying these early shorts. This thing went from, what is it, $3 to $10 in 3 minutes in pre-market. It's pretty wild. And now it's come all the way back down and it's halted up, trying to bounce. So, super sketchy one. All right, MSTR is back up. Was looking really weak yesterday. But it has now reclaimed a trend line. Shorter term trend line here. Officially reclaimed. Pretty cool. Now it can continue higher. I see D-Dog is holding up pretty well. Let's take a peek at this. So 141 resistance, you say, yeah. Previous day's high. One of the major levels to get through, it's going to be 147, 148 area. That's going to be a huge test. So if we can grind back up to that, I think once we get past that, we're in the clear pretty much. And then we have a gap to fill right after that. So it's going to want to fill that gap. It's going to want to fill the gap up to 152. I sold my Tesla swing at 318. It is maybe a little bit light volume on D-Dog here. But I don't know. It's going to have to grind it out. See you, Scotty. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. So Bitcoin had a dip. It's kind of reclaiming. It looks a lot like MSTR. Topped out around 123.6. It's back to 118.6. So maybe it's going to set up a flag and I don't know, it could continue higher. Kind of feels like we're in this sort of situation where it's just started breaking out. But I don't know, it's been in such a crazy uptrend since 2022. It's been holding this major trend line. I was expecting a break. It tried to break it over here in April, but it held the dip perfectly. Came through slightly, but held the dip. And it just continues higher. So until this trend line breaks, Bitcoin's just going to go up. Makes me think Hood is back on the table for a swing. This one doesn't look very good. The bot just got in FTFT. Maybe. I guess we'll give it a chance, but I don't think. I mean, it seems okay. It's not terrible, but I guess we'll give it a chance to work. This one could take off. $5 million float. Let's see. SSR is on. It's got a chance. That seems like pretty light volume though. Seems like the volume's too light. Let's take a look here. It's kind of on the edge. It's hard to say. I don't want to stop it if it's going to work, but at the same time, it doesn't look like it's going to work. It's a tough one. Might be something to think about for this strategy is um, after it gets in, how long should it take for the volume to really come in? Because that's kind of the main concern, I think, is it doesn't seem to be picking up steam. But I could be wrong. Plus, things are slower right now, so I don't know if this can do it. I don't know. Oh, ouch. Yeah, not good. Yeah, volume was pretty light, so that was a concern. We'll put that in the notes. Do another back test. Datadog, new high a day. Yeah, that one can, it's gonna have to grind for a bit. Hopefully that'll pick up some steam. It's looking like a good start to our swing. Yeah, Tesla does look like a breakdown pullback. Might have a bit of a pullback in it. Nice. Sig is on it. UNH getting obliterated. Hopefully hold for oversold. Yeah, let's see what MSTR's doing. Hood is ripping it up. Yeah, Hood is setting up for a pretty nice looking breakout. All right, well, gotta get going. I'm gonna call it there. Pretty slow again. There was a couple trades like in small cap land. They had Kappa. We had the long on that in pre-market, and then it was a good short too. Probably the main one. So we got a couple swings on. Hoping D-Dog can hold up. So far looking good. But that'll be it for now. See if we hit anything later in the day. We'll keep an eye out, but it's looking pretty slow. But we'll be back tomorrow. Good luck, everyone.